You have 24 hours to demolish that eyesore or we're calling the sheriff right now. That's what the HOA president screamed at me before I revealed her devastating secret. There I was, 3 days into building my dream cabin on my own land. This woman stormed onto my property with a clipboard and a terrible attitude. Victoria Ashworth, the HOA Queen Bee, demanded I tear everything down immediately. It violated community standards, she claimed, as pine sap mixed with her perfume. Gravel crunched under angry neighbors' SUVs while she waved threatening legal papers. She acted like she owned the place, threatening massive fines without mercy. Little did she know I held information that would completely flip the power. That information would turn her threats into the most expensive mistake ever. Before I explain how one phone call obliterated an entire corrupt HOA, drop a comment below about what you would do in my situation. What if neighbors tried to steal your land through lies and threats? Tell me where you're watching from today. Let's unite against HOA nightmares. Let me start from the beginning of this incredible nightmare story. My name is Marcus Brennan, a 45-year-old recently divorced electrician. I inherited 5 acres of beautiful Colorado mountain paradise from Uncle Silas. After months of divorce caught hell in a cramped city apartment, this land felt like true salvation and a fresh start for me. A place to build something real and prove myself to Emma. Maybe convince my teenage daughter her dad wasn't a complete failure. Uncle Silas was always the mysterious family member everyone talked about. He disappeared into the mountains back in 1984, showed up at Christmas smelling strongly of wood smoke and diesel, always muttering that land held more secrets than trees ever could. Most relatives dismissed him as the crazy hermit uncle forever. When his lawyer called about the inheritance, I suspected something big. Uncle Silas knew secrets the rest of the family never understood. The land was absolutely breathtaking with gurgling creeks and granite cliffs. Hawk cries echoed everywhere, pine sap and sage perfumed the air. An old concrete foundation existed where Silas started his own project, plus a frontier-style workshop filled with tools from another era. Breathing clean mountain air without exhaust fumes brought me real hope. I cashed my 401k, quit my city job, started the cabin. Nothing fancy, just a solid, modest log home for us. Emma could visit weekends and see her dad building something positive. The rhythm of hammering nails and sawing timber felt therapeutic. After months of lawyers and paperwork, physical work healed me. On day 3 of construction, Victoria Ashworth suddenly appeared dramatically. She emerged from a pristine white BMW like corporate death itself. Mid-50s, designer casual clothes, clutching a leather portfolio like a weapon. Her heels clicked precisely on rocky ground. Perfume overwhelmed the air. She marched across my property as if she owned everything there. Are you responsible for this completely unauthorized construction project here? I set down my saw, noticing her disdain for individual. Marcus Brennan here, building my cabin on my own private land. You must be Victoria Ashworth, the infamous HOA president herself. She flipped papers theatrically, claiming multiple covenant violations right away. No permits obtained, no architectural review, no environmental assessment done. This rustic approach seriously threatens our valuable property standards and values. I looked at wilderness stretching endlessly, seeing no community houses nearby. What community exactly? I see only pristine, untouched mountain wilderness here. The Pine Valley Homeowners Association governs all properties in our area. She produced official documents claiming Uncle signed covenants months ago. You inherited all his legal obligations when he passed away 6 months ago, but Uncle Silas died 8 months earlier. She handed cease and desist, demanding halt, plus $2,500 penalties, remove materials within 48 hours, or face daily $500 fines, doubling. We take community standards extremely seriously, she announced coldly. Her threat hung heavily in the crisp mountain air like smoke. Then she delivered her real personal message with class disdain. Let me be perfectly frank with you, Mr. Brennan now. Her eyes judged my work clothes, old truck, calloused hands harshly. This neighborhood isn't for people in your particular financial situation. We maintain high expectations about the quality of our residents. I'd hate for your daughter to face any embarrassing unpleasantness here. Mentioning Emma hit me hard like a sudden gut punch. She had researched my divorce, struggles, and my dear kid. Are you actually threatening my family with these personal attacks? My words came out much colder than I had intended. Victoria smiled sharply like cutting winter wind across the mountains. I'm simply offering some friendly and realistic advice to you. Some battles simply aren't worth fighting when clearly outmatched completely." She paused before driving off in her luxury BMW SUV. 48 hours exactly. Mr. Brennan, don't make things harder unnecessarily." As taillights vanished, Uncle Silas's words echoed strongly inside. "Don't ever let anyone push you around on your land." Victoria thought she held all the real power that day. She would soon discover how catastrophically wrong she truly was. Victoria didn't wait the full 48 hours before returning with more intimidation. She arrived next morning with a lawyer who looked utterly defeated already. A beat-up Honda Civic parked behind her shining white BMW X5. Douglas Krenke stepped out clutching a duct-taped briefcase full of papers. "Mr. Brennan, you are now served with official legal action documents." Victoria announced it triumphantly, while Krenke shuffled papers nervously in hand. "You owe $15,000 in retroactive violation penalties immediately. Furthermore, missing HOA disclosure documents may void your entire ownership claim. $15,000 for simply building a cabin on my own land." Krenke's nervous sweat mixed horribly with Victoria's overwhelming floral perfume cloud. "I'll review all these papers carefully with my own attorney soon." Victoria laughed coldly, claiming I clearly couldn't afford proper legal help. "Save yourself further embarrassment and just comply with our demands now." The moment they left, I drove straight to the county courthouse. Friendly clerk Betty helped me search through dusty property records thoroughly. Someone smashed lumber piles and poured fuel over my generator. Roofing nails scattered across the road to shred passing tires. Message was clear. Victoria had moved to criminal sabotage now. By sunrise, my truck sat helplessly on 4 flat tires. Anonymous EPA complaint claimed I destroyed sensitive mountain wetlands area. The creek had existed naturally long before Victoria ever arrived. Then cars strategically parked to block my driveway entrance partially. Drivers claimed constitutional rights to park on public mountain roads. Fake safety signs appeared warning of hazardous construction zone dangers. They looked official enough to scare my contractor Pete badly. Victoria weaponized community connections to isolate and destroy my work. Best con artists turn your own resources against you effectively. Sabotage showed desperation, and desperate people always make traceable mistakes. Sarah and I followed paper trails back at the courthouse. Betty's coffee and old documents created perfect detective movie setting. Mountain Vista Resorts planned a $50 million luxury project. My 5 acres were needed as the scenic resort's centerpiece. Consultation fee of $400,000 looked exactly like bribe. Victoria was earning massive commission to deliver my land quickly. Every day I resisted cost her hundreds of thousands in profits. That night I installed comprehensive security cameras, using electrician skills. Motion sensors and night vision covered every inch of property. I didn't wait long for the midnight criminal feature presentation. A pickup truck crept quietly with headlights completely turned off. Driver in hoodie poured gas near my valuable lumber pile. Cameras captured everything perfectly, including his familiar jawline clearly. Tommy Ashworth, Victoria's son, caught committing felony arson on video. Next morning I delivered USB evidence to the sheriff's office. Tommy's arson attempt crumbled Victoria's concerned citizen narrative completely. HOA filings revealed payments to non-existent companies and relatives. Victoria looted treasury while positioning for huge resort payoff. She was double-dipping from neighbors and future development deals. Cornered animals bite hardest just before they finally fall. Victoria responded to son's arrest with swift and unhinged fury. Emergency injunction claimed I planned illegal commercial transient housing operation. She demanded $100,000 in damages and restraining order. 3 county inspectors swarmed, citing non-existent building code violations. Lead inspector apologized quietly for orders from high above him. Bureaucratic harassment became weapon after legal intimidation partially failed. Then my ex-wife Linda called furious about Facebook predator posts. Emma was crying locked in her room over vicious lies. Classmates treated her like she was completely contaminated by me. Victoria weaponized my child to break my custody and spirit. This crossed every human line that ever truly mattered. Neighbor Jake brought news of HOA treasurer asking hard questions. Beth Morrison demanded full audit. Victoria kept dodging, successfully. 3 families quietly approached Jake, terrified of Victoria's retaliation. Her financial house of cards was finally starting to collapse. False sex offender accusations became federal defamation criminal charges. I visited local businesses showing screenshots of Victoria's false posts. Small communities live on reputation and word spreads incredibly fast. Ashworth family suddenly shunned by stores they always frequented. Storm clouds gathered as tide finally turned against Victoria completely. Desperate criminals detonate everything rather than surrender quietly ever. Next morning, crowbar hit metal under Uncle Silas' workshop floor. Steel lockbox contained documents that would change everything forever. Brennan Holdings LLC incorporated in 1998 by Uncle Silas alone. He bought defaulted mortgage debt during 2010 housing market crash. He owned land underneath every house in the subdivision secretly. Homeowners paid rent, thinking it was normal mortgage payments. My 5 acres made me landlord of entire Pine Valley. Victoria collected fees on land she never actually owned. Her own house was 3 months behind on rent payments. I could legally evict her and allies with 30 days. Power to destroy or build rested completely in my hands. Uncle Silas warned not to let anyone push me around. He never said push back harder, just stand your ground. Sarah confirmed every document was legally bulletproof and perfect. Plan D, expose crimes but offer community a better future. I called Sarah immediately. Her financial cards are collapsing. Explained how Mountain Hermit afforded comfortable lifestyle always. I held deed to entire neighborhood, 47 houses total. 12 formed Victoria's HOA, all sitting on my land. Taste of Uncle Silas's pipe tobacco lingered in air, mixed with weight of documents feeling like mountain crushers. Now I understood why he kept this buried secret. Owning homes without people knowing destroys families, communities, but it meant something crucial pulsing in my temples. Victoria HOA president, queen of harassment, didn't own land. Collecting fees, threatening fines on property belonging to me. Her own house command center for intimidation campaign. Sitting on land where she was 3 months behind rent. I could legally evict her with 30 days notice. Bank records in lockbox showed everything clearly documented. Monthly rent payments into Brennan Holdings accounts tracked perfectly. Property tax receipts, maintenance for roads, utilities included. Homeowners thought paying through HOA fees for that. Uncle Silas, invisible landlord for entire community decades, collecting rent via management, letting people believe ownership. Incorporation papers genuine, stamped with official state seals, notarized by attorneys' signatures, verifiable in county records. Property deeds matched perfectly with all courthouse documents. Bank accounts, real money trail clear as stream water. I sat in Uncle Silas's workshop chair, feeling dusty air, surrounded by old leather scent and long-forgotten secrets. Holding papers giving me power over Victoria, unimaginable before. I could evict every HOA member who harassed me, sell entire development to Mountain Vista, become millionaire overnight. Destroy lives, same way Victoria tried destroying mine completely. But Uncle Silas's final words echoed in dusty air. Don't let anyone push you around on this land. He hadn't said push back harder or seek revenge. He said don't let them. There was key difference. That difference would determine what kind of man I became. Weight of Uncle Silas's secret sat like lead blanket as I spread incorporation documents across Sarah's conference table. Smell of fresh coffee mixed with gravity of discovery. I wasn't fighting HOA, I was landlord of harassers. This is legally bulletproof, Sarah said, examining corporate seal. Under desk lamp, your uncle was meticulous in everything. Every document filed properly, every payment tracked, requirement met. For 27 years he maintained this secret perfectly. She pulled legal pads, sketching options like general campaigning. Plan A, reveal landlord status, negotiate HOA dissolution immediately. Clean, simple, gets Victoria off your back permanently. Now. Plan B, selective enforcement, terminate leases for ringleaders only. Victoria, her family, maybe 2 or 3 key others. Let the innocent neighbors stay without any punishment. Plan C, full nuclear media exposure, federal investigation upheaval. I thought about Emma reading those horrible Facebook posts, about neighbors manipulated by Victoria's constant vicious lies. Uncle Silas keeping power secret for decades wisely. What about Plan D, use leverage to build better community? Sarah's eyebrows rose. Explain that idea in more detail. Victoria stole from people lying about property ownership rights. Expose financial crimes but offer community-forward path. Reduced rents, actual ownership opportunities turned toxic HOA helpful. While Sarah researched legal precedents, I called Jake, my electrician buddy, to help with technical preparation needed. We drove to his shop smelling copper wire components. Reminded me I had skills beyond just legal warfare. You're going to need this recorded properly, Jake said, helping test professional-grade audio system for the meeting. When you drop this bombshell, document every word, legally. Back in truck, I reflected on apprenticeship lesson years ago. Most powerful electrical systems don't create biggest sparks always. They deliver right amount current to get job done. Too little, nothing happens. Too much burns house down. This situation required precisely calibrated use of power now. That afternoon I brought in HOA treasurer Beth Morrison. We met at local diner, neutral location for safety. Scent of apple pie, honest conversation, felt like sanctuary. After weeks of legal warfare, it was refreshing change. I'd been suspicious about our books for many months. Beth confided over coffee tasting like liquid courage, boost. Victoria dodging audit requests, collecting unprecedented high fees constantly. We've paid $847,000 in assessments a year, but I can't find records where that money actually went. I slid photocopies of Victoria's fraudulent invoices across table. Companies don't exist, services never performed, consulting fees excessive. Beth's hands shook, reviewing the damning evidence closely. She's been stealing from us, threatening our homes too. But Marcus even exposing her how protect families' investments. They've put life savings into these properties over years. That's when I knew Plan D was right, choice path. Over the next 2 days, Sarah and I crafted presentation. It would expose Victoria's crimes while offering compassion, justice. Legal documents prepared in triplicate, stored, secure, multiple locations. Copies sent to federal investigators specializing in HOA fraud. I also reached out to Emma since Linda's angry call. My daughter's voice, small hurt but hope creeping in. As I explained truth about Victoria's fabricated vicious lies. So you're not in trouble, Dad. The online stuff, fake. Completely fabricated, sweetheart. Soon everyone will know the truth. But Emma, understand, when hurt with lies, best response isn't more lies, it's truth delivered at right moment.